Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, Football Talk. And in this one, your boy will be reacting to everything you missed in college football 26 reveal trailer. Now, if you guys have not seen my reaction to the reveal trailer, it is on my channel right now. Also, I will leave the link to that in the description down below so you can check it out as well. Shout out to Eric Rayweather for another one. I know this one, he got this out a little bit later. It's 12 right now, so it's a little bit late, but we here. And I'm ready to see what I missed. And yeah, hopefully you got maybe you guys missed some stuff too, or maybe you guys saw some things in the trailer that he didn't mention in this one. So leave it in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into this. Let's go. Move my camera down a little bit. Alright.
Anticipated trailer for College Football 26 dropped a few days ago. I'm finally home from Orlando, so let's take a closer look at the trailer. Let's point out some specifics, and as the days go on, we're going to be able to talk a lot more about this game. They did kind of tell us to not get too specific on some of the things we saw just yet, because they kind of want us to wait for the deep dives. However, I've seen writers put
That's understandable.
some people that have tweeted stuff, so I will comment on some little things that people have put out. I just tend to try to listen. I don't want to speak on things if they don't want me to speak on them just yet, but just know that pretty much every week leading up to this game, and even Madden for that fact, if you're interested in Madden, there's going to be pretty much a deep dive like every week on a different part of either of those games. So we're going to have a lot of info to be covering.
And your boy is going to be reacting to all of it because I'm super excited.
Subscribe with the bell icon on so you don't miss those important updates, because we're going to be getting a ton of it flooding, pretty much daily at this point. Also, another thing that was just surprisingly revealed on Twitter a few days ago is not only is there going to be a beta for Madden, which we did expect, although we haven't seen any signups for it yet, there's also going to be a beta for College 26, which I was not expecting.
Oh.
Apparently, some of the VIP people for both games, I don't really know what VIP means. I guess maybe people that have just spent a lot of time on the game. I don't know. People have been posting emails saying that they are eligible for the beta for College and Madden 26. It said, keep an eye on your inbox when the beta start and get ready to hit the field early. So definitely be checking your emails pretty soon, because a College 20.
So College 25 didn't have a beta? I didn't. That's news to me. I thought, I don't know why. I just thought they had a beta with Madden. Huh. That's what? But people are already getting emails about it?
6 beta is going to be coming sometime soon.
Crazy.
I'm not sure if they're going to give me copies to give away. Usually with betas they do. So if you want to follow me on my social medias on screen.
Yeah, because they do that with Madden.
I will be doing it. That is the easiest place for me to do it. I'm not guaranteeing that I will get it. In the past, usually I do. So I'll try to get you guys.
Has anybody that watch my channel like been able to be part of the beta for like the Maddens and stuff?
That they're going to be giving them to people that have maybe just played the game a lot and maybe giving some away, if I had to guess. So let's take a look at the trailer. Obviously, the first thing you kind of saw in the trailer and throughout are the light shows, the drone shows for
and it looks so clean.
There's nothing really crazy, but any little bit of presentation that they're going to tack onto the game, every year adding a little bit more here.
I didn't even know they did this for a lot of people. Bruh, this one right here, the Texas one, the Florida one. I mean, they all look good, but the Texas one just.
Clemson running off the bus. Ironically, I saw a lot of people thinking this was stupid because they said, well, players don't get off the bus in full pads. Well, Clemson does before the game. This is a Clemson thing, and they're a pretty big team. So just thought that was kind of.
Speaking of that, I saw not many, but I've seen a couple of people react to the trailer, and they have said some of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Like the Clemson thing. Oh, they don't run off the. Like, what are you talking about? Then I heard somebody say the presentation doesn't really matter. They don't watch college football if that's the case. Because college football is all about the experience. College game day. The players walking out with the suits. Them walking out, doing their traditions. Like, it's all part of the experience. There's YouTube channels about college traditions. I mean, what more do you want? And these go back so many years. So many. We wasn't even thought of. That's how long a lot of these traditions have been.
funny, but that is a real thing they do. Another thing that they kind of focused on in this trailer is you see, real coaches and stuff like that. We know that they're going to be in the game now.
And
One
they
thing
looked
I
really
do
good.
know is that it's not going to be every single coach, but that's just simply because some coaches don't want to be in the game. I think most of them are because they even said on their site they have over 300, and that's going to include, I'm guessing, coordinators and stuff like that as well, because there's only 136 teams. So do the math. But just as an example, Bill Belichick was never in Madden. He never wanted to be, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in this game either. I don't know why he would change
Yeah,
his
that was the
mind,
one thing I
honestly.
had.
So
I
most
was
of
I
the
was
coaches
wondering,
should
would
be
Bill
there,
be in
but
it?
there's always those few that just don't want to be in the game or don't want to work with EA for whatever reason. Another thing I saw people note at parts of the video is it looks like the spats on the cleats are not as crazy as they had been in years past. They tend to be pretty thick on the cleats, and a lot of people don't like that. So it looks like maybe they've added some slimmer options there. But as far as equipment goes, I will say I didn't really notice a lot of new equipment in the trailer. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be some there, but just nothing that really stood out to me, like hanging mouthpieces, for example. We also got a glimpse at some high school that we know is going to be in the game. We're seeing
I
kind of
love
a
this
generic
right
stadium,
here,
which I
especially
also
the
think
run
that could
out.
mean we can
Oh,
get some
that's gonna
generic
be
stadiums
crazy.
now for Team Builder, which would be pretty cool. Definitely want a stadium creator at some point, but I think at least generic is better than having to use other school stadiums, which we had to do last year. And it seems like on this trailer, much like last year, they did focus on a lot of the pregame and traditions. So what we're kind of seeing here, maybe if this is your first year playing or you didn't notice some of this last year, they definitely added more like signature runouts for teams. Because last year they had a bunch for the big teams, but there were others that were still a little generic. So you could see more runouts, more mascots that weren't in the game last year. So you're seeing like the Texas Tech runout. You're also seeing more band formations on the field. Now I know that Ohio State had it last year. I don't really think any other team had it, not that I can remember, but you notice in the trailer they're showing some more of that, and I think they even mentioned that on their site. So expect to see a lot more involvement from the band, seeing those different band formations, whether it's at halftime or whatever the case may be, maybe before the game, depending on how they do it. Obviously, Enter Sandman was in the trailer, so I mean that's a pretty big get.
It
We
was
wanted that
super
last year.
dope
We know we
too.
had it this year. I think they even
I
also
love
mentioned it
that
on their
they
site.
had
But
that like
expect
as
other
like one
music
of
in
the
the game
main
this year, quite a
focus.
bit more. Last year, I think they had like maybe 4 to 5 licensed songs, which was cool. I mean, I'll take anything we can get in that department because I know that licensing music is not always
My
easy. Sometimes
goodness,
certain artists are
not at
paying
all.
also
And the
way too
money
much
it
money.
costs,
Sometimes it's just a thing where they don't want to be involved.
it's almost not
Sometimes
even worth it.
some
Sometimes, you know what I
bands and
mean?
artists just don't license their music out as much. But it looks like this year we got a lot more. In fact, somebody put out some information on this, and I didn't really want to speak on it because I thought this was like kind of like more of a big surprise thing. But I've seen multiple people now put this info out, so it's really not news anymore. But in one article, it said, speaking of real songs, Enter Sandman for Virginia Tech was the big one as evident in the trailer, but it also added Mr. Brightside at Michigan, Seven Nation Army, Fiend by Travis Scott, I'm Shipping Up to Boston at Notre Dame, and 2001 A Space Odyssey for South Carolina's intro, among others. So I
Oh
think there
wow, I
are
didn't even know that
even
was their
more than this
intro.
that were added to the game, and I believe like the bands and stuff like that will also be playing along these songs at times. So it
Oh
might not be like
nah,
the song
that's gonna
itself,
be
but
so
it's the band
dope.
version of the song in some situations, and the crowd will sing along to it. So I mean, just kind of upping the presentation. We're seeing like some of that displayed in the trailer, but
Was
some
Sweet
people have put
Caroline
that
in
info out.
25? I
I
believe
think people will be
Sweet
excited
Caroline
for
was
that
in
because it's
25,
just
correct?
if you're a fan of Michigan and you hear Mr. Brightside, I mean,
Sweet
how does that not get you hyped?
Caroline,
That's how
ba
it feels
ba
when you go to
ba
the game.
da.
So cool that they're adding more of that into the game because that was maybe one area where we thought, hey, maybe we can get some more of these songs and things over the years. I did notice also like a decent little bit of military stuff shown in the trailer. So we
Yeah,
had
they
some involvement with
did.
that last year. Maybe they're hinting here at some more involvement with that this year because they kind of made it, a decent little part of the trailer in some spots.
And it
Obviously, we
looks
got to look
so
at some of the
clean too.
mascots that are now in the game again. More new runouts that we're seeing. So like to see that. Now then we get to some gameplay stuff. And one thing I've realized with EA over the years is when they're showing you something in the trailer, it's something they want you to pay attention to. And sometimes things can just look like the same from last year, or it could look like just another animation that they're just kind of throwing in there. Maybe one that you think you've seen before, maybe one that you even have seen before. But a lot of times, or especially with college the last couple of years, when they're showing you certain clips, to me, that means they want you to focus on what this actually means. So when you see Bryce Underwood break, this tackle behind the line of scrimmage, when he spins out of it, it's one of two things. It's either just a canned animation, like a scripted animation that plays at random, or it's something you can actually do. And when it comes to the college team, especially, if they're showing you something, I'm kind of repeating myself a bit here, but if they're showing you this, probably means that it's something you can actually do yourself. So we know in the past you've been able to have ball carrier moves behind the line of
Yeah, because
scrimmage.
they did a
Some
lot
years
of
they
this
put it in,
last
some
year.
years they've taken it out because they try to change the system up a little bit, and either that or people just weren't using it. But if I'm looking at this, I'm saying
Or
that's
abusing it.
something they want us to see. And then immediately you go into the catch. Not sure if that's a new catch animation completely, but they show him reaching out for
That
the
looks like
pylon.
that
There's
might
also
be a
another
new
clip or two in here where they're
catch
showing the player
animation.
reach out the ball. That's something you can do
Or
in the
kind
game.
of
It's triggered
similar to
automatically, but they're
what
showing it quite often in this
Madden's
trailer for the
20.
limited gameplay
Like if
clips
you
they
do the
show.
aggressive
Probably
catch
something
and
to
you
pay
play it on
attention to.
arcade.
What could that mean? If it's already a canned animation in the game, why are they showing it multiple times? Think about what that could possibly mean. So now we're moving on. You're seeing a lot of hits.
That
We
hit
do know
was
that they kind of
absolutely
added the physics
crazy.
system to the game. They said it on their site. Boom Tech and Madden last year, there were good parts of it. There were parts that were still a little janky. And I've covered EA for so many years.
I think
now.
overall people
One thing that's
actually
always
like
been
the
evident,
boom
anytime they
tech
do
in
anything
Madden.
big with gameplay, whether it be physics, it's a throwing system, a movement system, always better in year 2, always way better in year 2. Year 1, it'll be okay, maybe it'll be awful, but it's usually never great in year 1. It's usually kind of the beginning stages. Year 2, it's always way more polished. So a good time for it to come to college is in year 2 because it's definitely going to be a lot more polished. And I don't think it's exactly one-to-one to how it was in Madden. There's definitely some tweaks to it there, but that's why they're kind of showing some of the big hits and the tackles in the trailer. Another thing we saw a lot of in this trailer was turnover celebrations. Now, we had a decent amount of those in the game last year, but
They
just
look
judging
so.
off the
Hey,
trailer, it
this
looks like they
tire
added a ton
one.
of new ones.
Who was the guy that made this? Like who was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I just put a tire on your like who was the guy that thought about this? Like I need to know Akron.
See Rice, we see Georgia.
I've never
We
watched an
even hear
Akron
for
football
Arizona
game
where they
before,
stab the ball after the turnover,
so I
or
never knew
take
they
the
even
ball
did
from you,
this.
and they stab the ball. They pretty much kill it, like it's theirs now. And you'll notice when they're doing their celebration here, there's 2 balls on the sword, and they're stabbing the third one, and that's something that's unique to what they do. Every time they get a turnover, they just kind of add the ball onto the sword. So I think probably maybe the most unique turnover celebration in college football, and that's now in the game.
It's
Along with a
definitely
bunch of
one of
others.
those
So, like I
that
said,
strike
last
a
year we had
little
decent
fear in you
amount,
if
but
you're on the
they've
other
added
side.
more on this year, which is pretty cool. Then they're showing some more Arch Manning gameplay. Of course, they're showing some new plays, which
I
I
know a lot of
assume are
people
new
love
plays because
that,
they've added
seeing Arch.
over 2,700 new plays to the game.
Especially that
So
they got
they're
his
kinda just
face
showing us a
scan
little
looking
glimpse of it
nice.
there, but kind of one of those things. It doesn't really mean much until you play yourself because you can't even really see what the full play even is. But they're definitely just kind of showing you some of that with the motion, showing more tackles, more reaching out again for the ball, showing some DB play. They did mention that defense would be improved for the DB play this year, that they would attack the ball more if their eyes are on it. So they're showing the best safety in college football doing just that. And here was one of the more interesting things in the trailer, because we didn't have this last year, when they're showing the QB here kind of grabbing at his shoulder, winding it up. And they also mentioned on the site that wear and tear is going to be, even bigger this year than it was last year.
I like
To
the
me,
wear and
this
tear
looks
system.
like
It gives
wear and
more
tear
like it's
actual
more of a
animations now, which I think is
realistic
super cool,
like
'cause wear and
aspect.
tear is a system I
Similar
think is
to
a
how
great
college
thing that they
football,
added to the game. That's something that football
Call
games
of
have been missing
Duty,
because it's such a real
World War
component to real
II
life.
with
But
the
now,
med
if they're adding
kits.
animations to that, so say your QB shoulder's hurting, or you have a running QB and he tweaks his ankle and he's kind of kicking around his ankle a little bit, or same for a receiver moving certain body parts, or a running back moving certain body parts. That's cool because not only is wear and tear an actual thing, but you're visually seeing it on the field now. You're seeing players, kind of playing through that pain, which is cool. Another shot that is, I think, super important is when they show this broadcast cam and you're seeing the Oregon players and how they're moving around and all this stuff. That was something that was added to
Reminds
Madden
me of the
last year,
old
and it makes
Maddens.
the game look so much more realistic. And I was like, why isn't this in college? I thought that was kind of weird that they added it to only Madden. So when you're playing the game now, whether you're watching from the side or you're just using the regular Madden cam that you normally use, you're going to see the players pre-play talking to each other on defense, moving their hands, doing hand signals. You're going to see
This is going to be so
cornerbacks
cool to
starting
see,
kind of
man.
drift back a little bit into their stance or come up into their stance if they're pressing. Pre-play, you're seeing them communicate and move around. And honestly, a small thing that just makes the game look more realistic, because typically they just kind of break the huddle and just stand completely still, and it's not something that really matters until you see it done the other way and you realize, oh, this looks so much cleaner. This actually looks looks like, more like I'm watching a real game. So glad that they have added that. If you didn't play Madden, this is something you're unfamiliar with.
It's
But
gonna
this
be
was
really
in
cool to
Madden.
see
Glad to see that they
like for
added to the game.
simulations.
Here's another one, the coaches, right? So we talked about coaches being in the game, but notice what they're wearing. All the coaches were pretty generic in both Madden and college. They would just kind of all wear the same things or one of two things, and that was a big talking point. Was why don't the coaches wear what they wear in real life? Obviously, we didn't have the real coaches in college, but still, you could still have the generic ones kind of mimic those coaches a little better, or just for your own created coaches. Why don't we have more gear? Well, just look at the trailer, look what coaches are wearing, and just think about that for a second. Might be a lot more coach customization this year. And then it just kind of ends off with the cover boys doing some crazy plays, some new animations. They're also
This was a
showing a lot of
crazy catch
trophies. Remember
animation.
that last year, all
Both
the
of them.
physical rivalry trophies were not in the game. We're seeing some of them here. We're going to probably have a lot more trophies in the game. And we do know Trophy Case is actually in the game as well. So I think that's kind of a double play right there. We're going to be having a ton of info coming. It's going to be a ridiculous amount that's going to be flooding very soon.
All right, that's pretty much it. Um, the coaches thing, like the more customization. I did not know that it was very limited. Obviously, I knew in 25 they didn't have the real ones. Um, but yeah, they look very clean. And he said in the last one that he doesn't think there's face cam. Even if they're not, they look so close to it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like they look really, really good. Um, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this reaction. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.